Guys, it's working. Oh, I love this. What's up, guys? If you'd like to support our content and pick up this month's amazing proxy rewards, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/itresolves. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another gameplay video. Today we are jumping back into Historic with a Grixis Storm list. This is not a list I created. I do want to go ahead and say, unfortunately I don't recall who. I'm gonna see if I can find it right now. I don't think I can. No, unfortunately I don't still have it up, but I did not create this list. I did, however, edit the list ever so slightly by taking it down. It was originally at 61 cards. I took it down to 60. It had a double vision in there. Didn't really feel like that was needed. I felt like it was a win more card, just like Thousand Year Storm, which is still in here. The idea of Storm, if you guys don't happen to know, is essentially to cast a ton of cards in one turn and then play something that theoretically will copy itself as many times as you have played spells that turn. In this case, Tendrils of Agony is the big culprit. So whenever you play this, target player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life, and then you copy it, like I said, for each instant or excuse me, just each card that you have cast that turn. So a lot of this deck is actually a very controlling list. This isn't traditional Storm, what I would call traditional Storm. Usually a lot of the original Storm decks have a lot of like fast mana, very, very cheap cantripy spells, things like Brainstorm, which we do actually have here, that you can kind of cycle through your deck very, very quickly with all of those cheap spells and a lot of mana, and then ideally just cast a Tendrils or a Grape Shot or whatever you happen to be using as your Storm win. But for us, we're using Tendrils and we're going with a bit more of a control shell because we do have Thousand Year Storm. So the idea being that if we can get this down, Storm becomes a lot easier to actually accomplish. The Storm win becomes a lot easier to accomplish. But in addition to that, we also have things like Storm-Kiln Artist, which are going, every time we play an instant or sorcery spell, it's going to create a treasure token for us, which not only provides us with a very potent finisher, but also allows us more mana and can afford us more mana that we can finish off the game by playing a lot more spells that turn. So very, very helpful card. Mizzix Mastery is also in here, and this is really one of the big wins, I will say. If you can overload this, utilizing that treasure that you get from the Storm-Kiln Artist, ideally you will be able to cast all the instants and sorceries in your graveyard without paying their mana cost, and basically storm off with a Tendrils of Agony that way. So there's a lot of options here. It's a really, really interesting list. Like I said, very, very controlling. I have played a few games with it, and I've really enjoyed it, so I thought I would share it with you all. Again, I don't want to take credit for it, but it is a very, very fun one. In the lands, we don't have a ton of tech, excuse me, but we do have a single Bojuka Bog. Really, really nice for those graveyard shenanigans style decks. It can get rid of some very potent threats in Historic right now. So without further ado, we're going to give this a shot. We're going to go through 3 games. We'll see how it goes, and hopefully you guys enjoy. If you do, please leave a like or a comment down below, and of course make sure you subscribe if you are not already. But let's go ahead and jump into game 1. All right, guys, we are here for our first game, and truthfully, I don't think we can keep this. As great as it is to have these 3 lands with these Ionizes and that Anger of the Gods, so much of this, well, all of it at this point is uncastable, and so I am going to mulligan here, and this we will keep. It's not perfect, but it does provide us with a little bit of extra tech. I'm going to put one of these Drowned Catacombs back, I believe. That allows us to keep the double red, which is obviously very crucial for the Anger of the Gods, especially if we happen to find ourselves against any kind of aggro deck, which they are very prevalent in the Historic world right now, if you're unaware. So let's see what we can do. We obviously get to lead off with a Shockland tapped, which is perfect. Couldn't have asked for a better start. I am going to make sure that we play out the red lands here as quickly as we can, because that does open up that double red for Anger as quickly as possible. But obviously we're going to probably lean more on the Ionize play. That Stormcaller we don't want to play early on. Ideally we want to keep that later on for copying some spells and being a little tricksy with it. So we'll see. We'll have a fun time and it'll be awesome. So let's go ahead and play out that Blood Crypt as well. See what the opponent does. This could be a very controlling deck that we happen to be up against, in which case the Anger is probably not going to be quite as useful. And there is the Teferi's Tutelage. Little scary, if I'm honest. However, the positive note about this is as they fill up our graveyard, theoretically, the Mizzix Mastery side of things becomes quite a lot better. So we're going to give this a shot. We'll just pass here and leave up that Ionize and hope to hit the right things at the right time. This is perfect. We'll go ahead and Ionize that. Very straightforward. Counterburn is a very, very effective strategy if you are unaware. And I think in this case, what we actually do, what we want to accomplish is take advantage of the moment that we're able to just kind of play this out here. Because truthfully, we are probably not going to get a better moment than now. And so the question becomes, do we want to play both of them? I'm going to say yes. That might be incorrect. I might be misreading the situation here. But getting some damage on the board here might be very, very important to end this game fairly quickly. So we're going to do the best we can. We'll see. We will see. There's an opt. Obviously going to mill quite a bit. But at the very least, we do have a clock on them. It's not a very fast clock, but it is a clock. And so let's hope we can make something happen here. Go ahead and play that Watery Grave naturally and get in that attack, getting them down to 14. Obviously, Anger of the Gods looking a lot worse now. No surprise there, but that is okay. And there's our Mizzix Mastery. That is the card we really wanted to get to, but we do have the 1,000-Year Storm in hand. Maybe we can make something happen there. We're going to do the best we can, but here's Chart a Course drawing them quite a number of cards, which is going to be pretty scary because this is going to trigger a lot for the opponent. And already we're seeing ourselves dip below that halfway point, so very, very scary, if I'm honest. There's another Teferi's Tutelage, very curious. Okay, so they must have drawn that tutelage off of the Chart a Course, otherwise I would imagine they would have played that first. But this is going to mill 6 cards due to all 3 of these enchantments. And I'll be honest, I don't believe we're going to beat this. I don't think we can outpace this. The one thing I will say is that I find this style of deck quite difficult to deal with when it comes to a control storm deck, because we do have a lot of ways to deal with early game creatures. We've got a lot of outs, but they're relatively few and far between, and the idea here is that we really have to counter these cards on the way down, and we really truthfully only have one opportunity to do that, which we took. So I don't think we're playing badly. I think they just, yep, and there it is. They just happen to have the right cards at the right time, which this deck is potent. It's got to be one you got to keep on the radar. So not a problem. I'm going to go ahead and concede here, guys, and we are going to jump into game 2. All right, guys, here we are for game 2, and I'll be honest, I don't love the look of this hand. In general, this is very, very slow. I'm going to attempt a mulligan here. It's a little bit scary to do so, but honestly, I think this potentially is even better. We don't have blue mana, which is a little sad, but we're gonna do the best we can. If we do get blue mana, that does allow us the Brainstorm play, which isn't amazing, but it is a play. So I'm gonna go ahead and just throw this Dragonskull Summit out, and we will go from there. Like I said, don't love this, but hopefully Sylvan Ranger gives me some hope, I will say, because again, we have that double red start, which if we draw an Anger of the Gods, anything like that, we are going to be in a much better position against any kind of creature deck that we might be up against. So we'll see. We might have some options here. We're going to do the best we can, at least, to do some damage to the opponent. Taking that one. What a scary thought. All right. I'm going to keep playing out these Dragonskull Summits, since that's all we really seem to be getting, and we'll just pass. That's it. If we can get blue mana, we are golden. Not perfect, but we are in really, really good shape. Unfortunately, still not getting there, so we'll go ahead and play that Storm-Kiln Artist, which is a very, very useful card here. The downside to having this Bojuka Bog in hand is it does come into play tapped, but we don't have the blue mana for anything anyway. So the trick here is if we Tendrils of Agony, we actually do get a treasure token, which could be useful for us because it does mean that we're able to kind of build up from there. Ideally, again, we need to get Anger of the Gods down as quickly as we can. Ooh, actually Languish. So Languish is a card that we do have available to us, and so that would truthfully be the best possible play, but we don't have anything yet, so I'm going to throw this down. I am going to Bojuka Bog here. This isn't a great play by any means, but it does allow us to get a card out of there. which is something. And then next turn we can really theoretically start to go off, but it looks like we're going to be too little too late potentially here. So we'll see. We will see. I have hope. I have hope, guys. There's a Teferi's Tutelage. If they get a blue land off the top, I'm going to be a little upset. I'm not going to lie. Don't do it. Okay, whew. Although the Bloodchief's Thirst could have been very helpful, but... Alright. We're losing it. We're losing it, guys. We're losing it. Okay. Wow, seriously, that is insane. I mean, we just have to do this. This really sucks to have to do it this way, though. I'm very not happy about having to do it this way. But we'll do the best we can. They may even have a counter here, but truthfully, it doesn't matter. We get the tokens, and that's kind of what we need. But there's very little that we can do to live through the next turn, which is the scary part here. So that's fine. They negated it. Whatever. Let's go ahead and crack one of these to brainstorm here. Hopefully finding a land, a blue land. Okay, there is a blue land. What do we do? I think we put these two back. That's fine. Yeah, that doesn't tremendously matter at this point. So we can Anger of the Gods, which is gonna basically wipe everything, but theirs all come back, which is kind of the scary part. Oh no, they don't. I'm sorry. They get exiled. I did forget about that. So that's helpful at least. And we're just gonna target them with the biggest tendrils that we can make. And this is, I mean, this is the goal of the deck. This is what we're trying to do. Kind of put a reset on the game at the very least. They do get rid of that 1,000-Year Storm, but truthfully, that's not the card we need right now. We need Professor Onyx. Professor Onyx would be tremendous. It would at least get rid of the Brood Moth, which would be helpful. Did they mill one yet? They did not. Okay. And they are going to go for getting more cats out, which makes sense. Makes total sense. All right. Sure. Unfortunately, that's just a land. All right, we're probably gonna lose. It's fine, everything's fine. Keeping in mind this is a control list at heart, and so not a very big surprise at having a high land count and getting flooded occasionally. So when you're playing any kind of control deck, lands are the most important piece of the puzzle. It makes a lot of sense that we would draw quite a number of them here, so it's cool. Oh, that Mizzix Mastery, that is our answer, guys. That is our answer. If we can get Mizzix Mastery, we could just take this game by storm. Pun intended. Let's take this game by storm. I like that. All right. Yep. 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 So we got about one more turn, maybe. Yeah. Yep, one more turn. I mean, it's Professor Onyx, which is something, but it's really not. It's not going to do it now. Like, let's be clear. This is not going to do it now. Sure. There it is. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into game 3. All right, guys, here we are for game 3, and this is a very reasonable start. This gives us the Bloodchief's Thirst as an option, Anger of the Gods as an option, and then, of course, we've got the Sea Gate Stormcaller later on. This is about as perfect as we could hope for. I'm going to go ahead and throw this out tapped. What I would love to be able to do is Sea Gate Stormcaller and then double up on the Bloodchief's Thirst if they happen to have multiple creatures out. And what that allows us to do is hold on to that Anger of the Gods, so if there is a second wave, then we can kind of take care of that as we go. And it looks like this is the life gain deck, which makes a lot of sense. And with that in mind, I'm just going to throw out this Blood Crypt here. Again, this should be able to take care of, you know, if they do some kind of double thing here, we have options. We can Anger of the Gods and then Bloodchief's Thirst with the Sea Gate Stormcaller, or vice versa. I'm kind of debating on which is the best option here, to be honest. Alternatively, we could just wait and then we could double Anger. that's not a bad option. I think I will just go ahead and Bloodchief's Thirst here. It's not a super exciting play, but it's fine. And then we can Brainstorm here at the end of their turn to kind of do whatever we need to do. Perfect. So we can absolutely deal with that. That's not a problem at all. The question is, do we want to wait on the Brainstorm? I don't think so. Let's go ahead and run it. We are going to need some power here, so I'm going to put these two back. That order is fine. Okay. So let's get Sulfur Falls out. The trick here is, what's the order in which we want to play these? I think it's very clearly just Anger here to get this Veto out. Veto is very much a powerhouse card that we cannot afford to let sit on the battlefield. So very much a card we have to deal with here. Very important to deal with this as well, though not necessarily less so, but potentially more manageable, especially with Professor Onyx. I'm just going to throw out this Storm-Kiln Artist, excuse me. This is going to hopefully get us where we need to be with our mana. Oh, very cool. Very, very cool. So Light of Promise deck, that's a little scary. They're going to get in for an attack here, no doubt. But they only have 2 cards in hand. I'm curious to see what those cards happen to be. Gonna happily take the 3, no worries there. So we can't do both here. That is the trick. We can do both, but not in the same order, which is a little frustrating. But let's go ahead and do this. That's gonna give us that token. And the trick is, do we want to wait and play that Professor Onyx, which I think that is the best out for us at this point. It doesn't seem, at least, that they've got a lot of other options here. Okay. Honestly, pretty okay with this, because while we are going to take a pretty big hit here, not going to block, we do get Professor Onyx down to just deal with this. So very happy to see that, actually. So let's do this. That's going to sacrifice that Ayara, which they have spent a very large amount of time trying to make work. I think we attack the Ajani, so they can -3 it, which sucks. But we have the upper hand in terms of answers, so we'll see. I'm curious on this one, because they're exactly just doing this because they have to. That makes a lot of sense. Before we do anything, let's make sure that wow, okay, well. Sure. Let's search for Azcanta, naturally. And I mean, we just pass. I would love to say we can end this pretty quickly, but we do have to draw the right cards. The positive thing here is, while they can plus this, they are only gaining 2 life. They don't have a creature to put it on, and that's a huge benefit to us. Definitely Library, because this is a very potent threat. Let's go ahead and do this. Ooh, oh, guys. Yeah, we are definitely taking the Mizzix Mastery here. We're gonna throw this out. And we are gonna pass. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we actually do need 1 more land to truthfully make this work. But if we do get that 1 more land, we're going to be in amazing shape. So we will see. Absolutely Library, and absolutely Transform. That kind of solves both of our problems. Okay, so first things first. Let's go ahead and just get rid of this. Just doesn't allow them the opportunity to really do anything. And then we'll just do this. And this should be really, really good. So, cancel that. Hold on. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. And I think we just decline from here. We could counter, but that's not really worth it. I guess we could have... Nah, that wouldn't have helped, actually. All right, so we're just going to do a lot of stuff right now. And this should be enough to take them out. Wow. Guys, it's working. Oh, I love this. Is it enough? I don't know. Oh, boom, boom, boom. Let's go. Should have done that in a different order. All right, let's go ahead and talk about this deck for just a moment. All right, so Grixis Storm, what do we think? What do we think? First and foremost, I will say I'm a bit partial to Storm decks. I've always loved Storm as a mechanic. I do know it's a bit of a polarizing deck, so I fully understand and respect the decision not to enjoy a deck like this. So if you don't, that's totally fine. But this is a pretty fun list. I'm glad we got to see it do its thing. I think very crucially, you can learn a lot from your losses, is what I will say. And the first two were obvious losses. And what we learned from that, I think, is what you learned from it is going to be potentially different from what I learned from it. But to me, I don't necessarily know that we misplayed so much as we just didn't have the deck tooled as needed to deal with those answers or with those decks. And so for us, I think the takeaway for a deck like this is to maybe play around with it, look at some different configurations, and then see where to go from there. But regardless, Storm is here, guys, and I love it. I love Tendrils of Agony. I think it's a very, very cool card, in my opinion, so I'm really happy to see it in Historic. This deck is, again, a very non-traditional version of Storm, in my opinion. Lots of times you do see more fast mana and much more, cheap spells, that kind of thing. But it does work, as we saw, and so I'm very happy to have this here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to enter our Modern Horizons 2 giveaway we've got going on right now, as well as check out our Patreon. We've got some really great rewards this month, and I hope you guys are enjoying that. But regardless, I do appreciate you watching. I hope you have a fantastic Thursday. I will be out of town this weekend. I am going on my bachelor party, people, so I'm going to be out of it, but I hope that you guys have a fantastic weekend as well. We'll have another video tomorrow for you guys to check out, of course. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I love you all, and I wish you guys the best Thursday possible. I'll talk to you guys soon.